Welcome to the Geek Switch podcast, turning you on to everything new and nerdy. We are adults using adult language. You've been warned. Again.
Hey, Internet. This is the Geek Switch podcast, episode 94 for June 18th, 2014. I'm your host, Tony Livingston, and I'm joined by my good friend and compatriot, Dante.
Hello.
And we've got a new guest, someone we've never had on the show actually before. I don't know how we want to introduce him. Maybe he should introduce himself. Go for it, Fox.
Hi, my name's Fox. I'm actually a National Guard Army medic. I do a little bit of that on the civilian side, and I also am a first aid worker for A-kon for 10 years now.
Yes, we thank you for your service, and we thank you for your service.
I think both are applicable.
Right. You gotta say it twice. You've done multiple tours of duty in multiple senses.
One tour of duty in one sense and 10 in the other.
You're still 4 years behind me.
Well, yeah, but I work harder than you.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Alright, well, we don't have a lot of time to just dick around this episode, because there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, in the last month since we recorded, E3 has happened, as well as numerous other things, such as X-Men, Days of Future Past came out, bunch of other movies. I got an Xbox One.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
I'm jealous.
I'm enjoying it so far. So now I finally have all of the next-gen consoles, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. Next on the list, I guess, would be handhelds, right? But it's nice to finally have them all. Been playing some games on it. Obviously, I got the Titanfall bundle, so did not get the Connectless one.
I just think it's sad that they kind of leaked at E3, where they're talking about, hey, by the way, since you can't use Kinect now, there's basically like a 10% increase to the GPU, and those games that weren't 1080p, they're going to be 1080p now. All of a sudden.
Amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, well, when you're not using the processing for one thing, you can use it for another. Who would have thought, right? But yeah, it's nice because I'll get the benefits of that now, owning it, because even if you have a Kinect,
I'm just
still use
the new commercial where the guy keeps saying Xbox on, and it's turning on people's Xboxes.
Yeah.
Unless they live in Australia or the UK. Because then they can't turn on their own Xboxes, because apparently Kinect will not recognize accents very well.
Well, in that case, it would work for that and only that, and not for them.
Because there's apparently like a 6-hour video of a guy yelling at his Xbox in Australia or UK, I can't remember which, and he just gets more and more pissed because it will not turn on.
That seems like a lot of time.
Yeah, that's when you just push the button.
6 hours, really?
Hey, people will do shit on YouTube for just about any. Look at what we do.
Yeah, that's true. We basically just turn this on and yell at our Xboxes for an hour. But that being said about the Xbox, I'm having a good time with mine. Mostly been playing Peggle 2.
Really?
Sweet exclusive. Only on Xbox.
So you spent $500 to play Peggle 2.
No, don't be silly. I could have played it on Xbox 360, but that's what I've primarily been doing.
It's a fantastic use of your hardware, sir.
Right. Well, I have Wolfenstein sitting there, which I've heard is pretty good. Haven't touched it yet. I also have Crimson Dragon that I bought. Haven't touched that yet. I have Dead Rising 3, which I rented, and I've put a little bit of time into that, maybe like an hour or so. That's pretty cool as well. But really, I haven't done a whole lot. I did Titanfall in training. I did the training on that. And I've had this thing for 2 weeks now. If this tells you at all how busy my life is with school right now.
Or Peggle.
Yeah.
Go to school for 4 hours, come home, play Peggle for 8.
I wish I had time to do that. But I also have Watch Dogs on PS4 right now. as well as numerous games that I got for free from PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live this month. I got Halo Spartan Assault, Max the Curse of Brotherhood, I think Super Stardust HD or something on the some shooter on the PS4. Do you remember what it was this month?
I haven't turned. I turned on my PS3 for one reason in the last week. So.
Oh. And Trine 2 also, I got that for PS4 for free. So I have like a million games right now. Got the Lego movie there. Nice. Fantastic movie.
I actually had never seen it, and I spent $37 on a fucking Blu-ray.
Yeah.
For a single movie. Because they decided to fuck us in the ass and be like, by the way, the only way to get the 3D version is this way. And it's worth watching in 3D. So,
obviously, that's a great movie, like overall, but the look of it is just so spectacular. It looks like Legos.
Well, actually,
in 3D, it's so like it's like a diorama kind of.
Well, the special features actually talk about when they did the modeling program. Everything in that movie is made out of actual Lego bricks.
They are real Lego bricks.
So everything in that movie can be remade in real life with Lego bricks.
Yes, it would just be super time intensive for them to make a movie like that. Could you imagine? Oof.
Well, that's how they did Nightmare Before Christmas.
Exactly. And that took
Box
how many years?
Box Trolls is coming out. Yeah.
But yeah. So when I've been busy not playing all those games, I have been playing Mario Kart 8.
You mean the reason that I am now justified in owning my Nintendo Wii?
Hey, there have been justifications before. This is just the best one, okay? Super Mario 3D World was fantastic, but it pales in comparison to how much fun I'm having with Mario Kart 8, and especially with like having people over to play Mario Kart 8. It's just a fantastic party game, just like all the Mario Karts have always been. Have you? Yeah, I assume you also picked it up. Did you get the digital version or the physical?
I got the physical, so I got my free game and all that wonderful stuff. And
I got the digital, and I got the free game with that as well.
Yeah, but I think I paid $25 for my copy between coupons and a trade-in or something. So.
I paid the full $60 for the download because I said to myself, I want to have this on the console always. I want this to be an essential part of my Wii U. This way I'll never sell the disc or lose it or scratch it or something. It's just always there. And what game did you end up getting as your free game with?
Pikmin.
Me too. We both have Pikmin 3 now. Did you play it have played it at all?
I actually haven't even put the code in yet. You have to understand.
I played like an hour. Less than that even.
The game came out, and like a couple days later, this big, like almost week-long event took over my life.
No, it is a week long.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And then the week after was audit week, and so the last 2 weeks of my life have been consumed by anything but video games.
Oh. Well,
no,
I did some stuff that wasn't video games.
Okay, well, checking
let's hear about
for
A-kon for a
street
little bit.
passes. Speaking of A-kon, since we have Fox here, we might as well get into the fun of...
Yeah, before I just talk forever.
He doesn't shut up sometimes.
Yeah,
that's
true.
okay, I know that
Especially when there's so few of us.
Yeah, so A-kon was not last weekend, but the weekend before, and...
Right, first weekend in June.
The week before E3, right? Weekend right before E3?
Yeah, that's the reason I can't keep going to... Even though I keep getting offers for tickets for E3 and I can't go. It's a cock tease every year. It's just like, yeah! Oh.
You don't have to go to A-kon every year. You could
no,
choose
actually,
E3.
No,
our A-kon boss would kill him if he skipped, so...
I've had... When I was in Kansas and I threatened not to come down one year, they threatened to come up and get me.
I was there for that.
There's an 8-hour drive. So
tell them to come to the LA Convention Center and pick you up if they want you so bad. Come on, it's E3, man.
Again, the audits job more important.
Yeah, no, I understand. This year. but in the future someday.
Well, that's the nice thing is that occasionally A-kon does end up on like the second weekend of June sometimes, or like the last weekend of May or sometimes. It just depends on the scheduling. It's been, but I think it's been second weekend for several years. But Fox definitely has some stories since he's the main knight lieutenant and stuck in the dance and not a rave.
No, we do not use that word. We do not endorse the things that usually come with raves.
Then why even do them?
There was a lot of rumors of interesting things this year. There was actually some things that happened that I still can't believe.
There are some I wish I had seen firsthand. I wish I'd have been... No, Son Goku. I wish I'd have been there for Son Goku. The koi fish incident, not so much.
Yeah, there was a rumor that... the thing is one of the Barry staff actually pulled up Google Maps and tried to find the koi fish pond and couldn't find it on Google Maps. So I don't know if it's a new addition to the hotel or not, but you have to understand there was a rumor that someone fucked a koi fish.
Or attempted to, anyway.
It doesn't seem possible, though.
Well,
koi fish are pretty big.
He was bound and determined to try it. And he was not too happy when we pulled him off of it, so...
See, that's the thing is, what you hear at A-kon as rumor is either A, incredibly unlikely, or absolutely plausible. Like, last year, the Dallas PD tends to have enough of a sense of humor where there was two furries, not furies, going at it on the... Oh, no, this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, we were still at the Sheraton for that one.
Two furries were going at it on the 4th floor of the tower.
I believe it's called yiffing, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Dallas PD found out before anybody else and called Dallas Animal Control.
I can confirm that Animal Control showed up. I saw the truck.
So, yeah, it's really
Why would they call Animal Control? That just seems...
Because they were furries, and it was funny, because it was 3 in the morning.
You have to understand, the
Those
cops...
poor Animal Control people getting up at 3 in the morning to come down here.
Oh no, are you kidding? They've got a bar story for life out of that.
That's true.
You have to understand that the cops that work this event are just as crazy as the volunteers who work it. Except they get paid.
Yeah, it's gotta be a nice bonus.
Who needs money, right?
one of my personal favorites is, I think it was the year I made lieutenant, so it was like my 2nd or 3rd year working for med staff. I've got this underage kid that had been drinking, and we're not talking a little bit either. I'm holding him up, and the officer is being cool. He says, "Does he have a hotel room?" I said, "Yes, we're just trying to get him there." And the officer's like, "Okay, cool. I don't have to do paperwork if we can get him to the hotel room." So we walk into the elevator, and it's a short ride. We only got to go up 1 floor so we can hit the crosswalk to get to the other half of the hotel where the rooms are. And this kid looks straight at the cop and says, and I quote, "Don't tase me, bro." At which point the cop simply turns and looks at him with this dumbfounded expression on his face and says, "Have I put my hand on my taser?" "No." "Have I given you any indication that I'm going to tase you?" "Nope." "Have I done anything but ignore the fact that you're 15 and drunk?" "Oh."
Yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
I still had to carry him to his room, but the funny thing is he didn't say another word until we got there because he was terrified he was going to piss the cop the rest of the way off.
No kidding. He probably would have.
Oh, he'd have had him in the drunk tank in a heartbeat. I have no doubt.
Oh, and his parents would get called, and
yeah, if his parents were anywhere close to there too. I mean,
they were in the hotel room.
Oh, okay, well that's good. At least they were.
Yeah, that was I didn't stick around for that conversation.
They seem like great parents.
See, that is always the weird thing that gets me is when we have to go to somebody's room and parents are already there because there was two it was either low blood sugar, and it was her friend, and I had to take it up to the room. Apparently they got a suite because the hotel fucked up their room, and they got upgraded to like one of the nice suites. So it's like, that's fucking nice to begin with, but it was the entire thing of, there was another girl near them that was kind of exhausted and dehydrated, and they just randomly invited, she's like, yeah, come upstairs, my parents won't mind, yeah, come, and it's just like, okay, alright, well, let's take the first one up, come back, get the other one, and go back to the same door and knock on the door, and like, we got another one for you, we have no idea who the fuck she is, but here. It was just kind of like the parents were like, who is this other person? Why is there a wheelchair, and why is med staff back with another young girl? And it's just like, part of me wanted to go find the third one and just bring it up there, and it's like,
You should have a conga line of drunk people up there.
Well,
They're all like holding on to each other.
She wasn't drunk. Okay, during the day you get more low blood sugar, dehydration, pure stupidity, panic attacks, attention.
Those are always my favorite.
I'm still laughing at the fact that the low blood sugar had the seizure in medbay and actually managed to get to medbay before having the seizure. I don't think you were there for that because Tippy went into the back to
No,
get
I think
food.
I missed that one.
Yeah, Tippy goes into the back to get food and just walks out and goes, by the way, she's having a seizure, and it's just like, really?
Well, to be fair, it's not like he could have done anything.
Sure, but he was so nonchalant because he was terrified of Kimmy finding out that he was there, like getting food. It's Tippy.
That sounds like Tippy.
Not that our one half of the lead of our med staff is a terrifying person by any means whatsoever.
I like Kimmy. She's nice.
I've discovered the easy way not to piss off Kimmy is to show up with vanilla wafers now.
That's one way to do it.
I actually had a bad idea for next year, which is I was thinking about going to Sam's Club and buying enough.
No. We are not doing that.
Hold on, it gets better. Taking the boxes and basically taking foam core to make the rest of a big box, and literally like having a box this big that's just a printout of a giant vanilla wafer box with a shit ton of other boxes inside.
Dante, do you want her to kill you?
No, she would not kill me.
For?
No. We both know she would not kill me because that means she would have vanilla wafers for work for months.
Oh, but there's better ways to do it, dude. You bring a human-sized box of vanilla wafers, and she's going to do mean things to you.
I see. This is a bet because I don't think she would.
Okay, but would she put you on my staff for the night events?
I'm already doing that next year for probably Saturday anyways.
Well, true, because those are all hands on deck. This past year, we had something like 35 calls in a span of 45 minutes. And even with 20 medics, we just didn't stop moving. We ran from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And the cops are looking at us going, you guys are working really hard. Is there something we should know about here? No, just the usual.
Thankfully, no one this year did something insane like spike. I don't think anyone spiked the water this year, did they?
No,
there was
actually,
a rumor of it.
There were a couple of acid dealers, but all of them got busted.
You want to tell the Sengoku story? Or were you not
Okay,
there?
so no, I but I did tug and I did get all the details for it. So Son Goku, up on the 26th floor outside the presidential suite that is rented by the owners of A-kon, this guy is sitting there yelling at the top of his lungs, "I am Son Goku." Apparently, he had done 5 of the little litmus papers worth of acid with an unknown drop count in them, so anything between 10 and 30 hits.
That seems like a lot. I've never done acid.
It's definitely more than most people recommend. And
I mean, then again, you don't know how many times he's done acid. He could be very tolerant or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but apparently
Can
he
you
was
build
having
a
a
tolerance
really
to acid,
bad
guys?
trip. I don't know. I have to ask somebody who's done it.
Well, how bad of a trip could it be if he thought he was Son Goku, though? I mean, that sounds pretty awesome, actually.
I don't know, but that was the only phrase he would yell until he was asked a direct question, and then he would look at you and 6 inches from your face and yell the answer.
Yeah,
Were they right answers?
Well, that I don't know, because I don't know all the questions that were asked. I know the one that they did ask, though, is they looked at him and they said, "Are you having a bad trip?" And the guy turned and looked at Doug and just full-on in his face screamed, "Yeah, I'm having the worst fucking trip ever! I'm Son Goku!"
This is why I probably should be on med staff, because I would have the absolute inclination to go find the Frieza cosplayer that was running around. And just
Fortunately, that person had gone to bed because this was like 2:30 in the morning.
And this is why you're not on that staff, Dante.
Oh no, he is on med staff.
They just
He
don't let
is
me
definitely on med staff.
Oh, that's not good. I wouldn't let him take care of people.
We had another fun one that involved acid a couple of years back. Guy didn't know he had done acid. He was some like church kid or another, and they had spiked the water, and he drank a huge cup of it and got to. So he's sitting in our med bay, and he's looking at one of our medics, and then he turns directly to Kimmy, and he says, "I'm sorry, your friend died," and he points at the other medic sitting next to him. And for the next 30 minutes, they tried to convince him that she wasn't dead, but he was serious. No, Kimmy, I'm sorry, your friend died, and I'm sorry.
I think that needs to be one of the posters I make for. I think one of the more there are unique phrases that end up at A-kon every year that just come from stories like this. That we have bad T-shirt ideas. They have bad poster ideas now. One of them is we had this. I can't remember her badge name, but little Asian girl, sweetest, nicest girl on new staff, and we get a report from one of the troubleshooters that apparently she turned all of a sudden on her own run by herself into the stereotypical old Asian lady yelling at the top of her lungs to get through the basically the line. Because for some reason at A-kon people don't understand medic, move, get out of the way, make a hole. These words don't seem to land anywhere near their brain and go, oh shit, an emergency. People need for us to get the fuck out of the way. And I get
That's fine. I'll just wait here.
Except for her, because apparently, and I don't remember who told us this part, but they were sitting there, and she told them that no one was moving, and she was trying to get the wheelchair where it needed to be. And so she asked herself, what would Fox do? And her answer was, Fox would yell. And so she started yelling.
It's good to know that she knows how you would react in these situations.
But it was, it's that quintessential stereotype of, you move now! You get out of way! It's just like, we heard this. Everybody in the medbay is laughing their ass off because it is absolutely, when you look at her, you don't see that. You see nice, sweet, innocent, yeah. Never would, no, and it's just, and we asked her later why she did. She's like, I feel powerful.
It was the I feel powerful that did it.
So now we were going to have to, there's going to be a poster that says, I feel powerful. But, see, there was the fish, one of our poor staff members literally almost had to crawl through shit, more or less.
No, it was vomit.
It was vomit.
It was old vomit, though.
I thought it was old and new vomit.
Oh, well, that's true. It could have been both, but it was definitely old, but not dried, but congealed.
Okay, well, that's not better.
No, not really.
Nope.
But it was the only way to get under the stall door to unlock it so that we could actually get to the patient who had passed out inside.
I would have broken the door. Or climbed
We were trying not to do that. Hotel staff was standing there.
Yeah.
And this is also a very, very nice hotel where it's $220 a night, and that's like con price with tax, and that's pretty expensive for Dallas.
Well, considering even the other hotel we were at was only $150 a night.
And the same hotel for two other conventions this year is $99 and $129 a night. So yeah, it is not a cheap hotel by any means. There's what, 2 10-foot slabs of the Berlin Wall. There's Asian
actual
art
terracotta warriors.
Yeah, I don't know how the hotel survives the convention. It's also the same place they hold QuakeCon.
They're probably pretty used to it then.
Not really. You would no. Okay, QuakeCon and A-kon are completely different beasts.
I will say they're adapting quickly, and they don't seem freaked out by the furries anymore.
Well, yeah, I guess. It's hard not to be freaked out by furries, but we all have to try.
Actually, they're really sweet people most of the time.
Yeah, usually, but I'm saying your initial reaction a lot of times is to be like, Generally, they're great people, though.
Except for this one. There was this one that every time he walked around, he squeaked. He had, like, little squeakers in his shoes, and it was driving people insane, because it's like, oh, not that little fucking kid. Oh.
Well, that just means he's a bad person, not a bad furry. He's just being an asshole at that point.
No, I don't think he realized he was. I think he thought it was amusing.
Well, no, I'm not sure if he realized it, but he was being one.
The weirdest thing for this year was there was an anime recently that finished called Kill la Kill. It's the same guy who did Gurren Lagann, and one of the main factions in the show is called Nudist Beach. And
is it
the
like Pokemon, or I've seen
No.
that one. Is it like Yu-Gi-Oh?
No.
Okay. My frame of reference is gone. Sorry, guys.
One of the main factions, their characters wear nothing but a gun belt and an ammo belt and a holster, and that's it. Male and female characters.
I've not seen this one.
But why?
Nudist Beach. It's clothing or aliens and trying to take over. It's anime. It's fucked up. You know how it is.
Okay.
Dude,
We had to wave away all that craziness. Anime, whatever.
Well, to be fair, sometimes that's all you can do.
Dude, there's an anime about fucking baking bread.
Yeah,
That's all I have to
that's
say.
way less weird. I mean, there are TV shows in America about baking bread, so...
But not like action-based, like over-the-top. There's an anime about playing Go.
Well, I don't know. Have you ever seen Chopped? Because they take that pretty seriously, and it's kind of dumb.
Except for there is a Chopped episode where the users...
American television, what do you expect?
No, there is actually... If you ever want a good example of Chopped and how fun it can be, because some episodes are terrible, some episodes are actually kind of fun.
Sure.
They had a user-generated basket, and every meal was either Reddit or Twitter, and I think Facebook was the last one, and they were getting things that you would never fucking combine, like Fruit Loops and lamb. It's just like, the chefs were like going, what the fuck? Really?
Not that I would probably
saw
pay
an
to watch.
episode where it was all leftovers, and they had to like just take leftovers and change them into other things.
No, they had that leftover
bad.
episode. That was actually pretty cool too. I mean,
I saw that.
They do have really, really good episodes, and they have real. It's just like Dinner Impossible, where there's like really fun episodes and just meh stuff. Fast forward through, but yeah, A-kon it's 20. It was 25 years this year.
Yep.
I've been working 14. He's been working 10, and Fox is starting to work on a book of the insanity that has happened during this time.
Yeah, I'm going to put that one together. That's going to have to happen. It's just going to be all the medical stories from all the different medics for all the different years of A-kon. And we're going to have some doozies in there, because there's some I haven't shared just because, well, they take entirely too long to tell. But one of the phrases I'm not allowed to utter in my own house right now is, trust me, you'll feel tons better, because of one of these stories.
See, to me, I'm curious.
That means
now.
nothing to anyone listening. No one knows what you're talking about.
If you ever hear a medic say, trust me, you'll feel tons better, it's probably a true statement. The thing is, I'm not telling you when you'll feel tons better. And long story short, this guy hated me until the next morning.
Okay.
Because his friends weren't happy with him either, so they were more on board with what I did.
Oh, we did find out one interesting story, because I told the Tiger Bomb story on the podcast before, and we found out there's actually 3 Tiger Bomb stories. There's the original one I told about the guy after Hentai Fest, and Kimmy, the head of medic, or not at the time wasn't, she was actually where Fox's position was, she was lieutenant, having to get called at like 2 or 3 a.m. to go deal with this poor boy who had decided to try and masturbate with Tiger Bomb. Apparently, the same guy, the following year, his friends had left out a bottle saying lube, and he did it again. And apparently, a year later, one of the security staff members didn't believe the story, was curious enough to try, and as punishment, his co-staffers didn't tell medical and just let him suffer.
I'm looking for a towel.
Sorry.
So,
I mean, it doesn't sound like a good idea. Anyway.
It's not.
I mean,
You know, that
was
old
that story
gym...
about you?
No, actually, it's not about me. You know that
No,
old
of course not.
gym prank where you fill somebody's...
oh no, we're losing him.
You're basically doing the same thing, but... No, don't drop.
Okay, well, you're still here. You're just delayed by a little bit right now.
Okay.
So. Go ahead and tell that one more time.
Yay, lag. Okay, so if you're familiar with the old school, back in the day, you'd fill somebody's jockstrap with Bengay as a practical joke. Imagine that, but you're doing it to yourself intentionally while you have an erection, and that's the same effect.
And it's a waxy substance, so when you heat it with hot water,
I'm sure it tingles.
melted wax tends to go everywhere. All right, well, let's move on to before we move on to E3.
If we're done with A-kon, I still have some more to talk about, if you don't mind. Because I don't know if you wanted to talk about X-Men yet, because that came out since I'm assuming you've saw it by now.
Fox, have you seen the X-Men movie? Days of Future Past.
I have not.
Plot lines to be fixed. I think we actually should just have a big end of summer movie
talk. Okay, that's fair. So we'll skip that for now. I have been watching Orange is the New Black.
Yay, lesbians in prison.
Came out. That's such a good show. Have you watched it though?
That's essentially what
I
it is. I've seen almost.
I mean, there are lesbians, yes, but they're not all lesbians.
I watch it because I enjoy Red. I enjoy the Russian mob bosses, or no, Russian wannabe mafia wife husband. Yeah, she is just like, yeah, she's the reason to watch that show. I think.
She is the reason to watch that show.
Janeway.
Is that No, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Janeway.
Holy
Yep.
damn, she. Wow.
There's your mind blown.
She does not
No
look
wonder
like
she's your favorite part, right?
That is, oh god, yeah, wow.
She's still a badass, dude. Come on.
I knew she looked
Fantastic.
familiar, but now I know why she looks familiar. She just does not look like she did when she was on Star Trek. Though.
Well, she's gotten a bit older, you know. People age,
And
but
makeup's amazing.
but she's still a great actress in that show. Oh my god, so good. And don't spoil anything for me because I haven't finished. I'm like 2 episodes away from finishing season 2 now. So.
I'm still in season 1, so.
Oh, you've
I
got
didn't
so
even know there
much.
was a season 2.
It just came out
It
at the beginning of
started
the month.
Sunday. We were at A-kon.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And
Right.
I'm
So now
not
you've got
gonna
something to
lie.
look forward to.
I actually, one of the reasons I kind of wanted to go home on Sunday night was Game of Thrones.
Oh my god.
Part of me really wanted to send pictures back to them on, because you have to understand, at the end of A-kon, we get a big party. Med staff has their own little party, and they were just going crazy on this walkie-talkie thing called Voxter. And part of me just wanted to just start taking video streams and going, "You guys seem to be having fun, but I enjoy my life."
They'd have killed you for that.
Yeah, do we want to talk Game of Thrones though? Do you want to do that now?
I actually want to read the books now, because
Oh my god, you gotta read the books, dude.
I have this weird thing where if I start a story in one medium, I don't like to go to another medium until I've completed one. Like the Harry Potter movies,
Yeah.
someone handed me a book like halfway through them, and I was like, "Here, read the first book." And I was like, "All I'm going to see in my mind is Daniel Radcliffe," and I don't want to do that. But this last season of Game of Thrones has been enough going, I might be willing to forego that just to see the rest of what the fuck's going on.
Oh, trust me, you should.
Well, keep in mind, they're actually approaching the point where they're out of books, and R.R. Martin is just handing them the plot synopsis.
No, we still have. They're slowing
we've still
up.
got like a season or two
There's
until that
one
happens,
season
technically.
until it happens, but it will happen.
Well, with
The
some
show will
characters,
go
it's
beyond the
basically
book.
already happened. Also, like, it's pretty much already happened with Sansa. She has a couple more scenes left until she's caught up with the books. But there's definitely still plot for some characters.
I think what they're going to do is kind of what they did with Walking Dead in the second season, which is they're going to draw it out a little bit more, and they're going to do because they did Sword of Storms was 2 seasons,
Right.
so I think we're going to get about 2 seasons per book, if not 3.
Well, no, I think with the next 2 books, the way they were written, they were already split up between characters. Like, the characters in the South are in one book, and the characters in the North are in another book.
Oh.
And so what they're going to do with the show, obviously, is combine those 2 books and have them over 2 seasons.
Well, then that
Because
could
the way the
easily be-
storylines work, they would kind of have to do it.
Huh.
Because there are so many characters happening at this point. Although the storylines do seem like they could be 1 season. I'll agree with you on that, Fox.
Well, I'm all for
yeah,
splitting
it's very
it out.
interesting.
Well, he already announced it's going to be 8 books now instead of 7.
Well, that was not confirmed yet. He's considering 8 books.
Well,
I had
he
not
needs
heard
to
anything
finish 7 first, but
Yeah,
Bastard.
well, he needs to finish 6 before he can get to 7. But the thing is, there's only going to be, they've said 7 or 8 seasons of the show is how long they're going to take, and there's no way they're going to finish that series of books before the show is done. There's absolutely no way. He will finish the 6th
He's
book
plotted
before
it out,
it's done,
so
but there's
it'll be
no
okay.
way. Yeah, I mean, and he's told them what's going to happen, and if he's still alive, then there should be no problem with him like going, okay, here's what I would have happen, and here's how it's going to go, and then they could work from there. But even if he were to die before the books were finished, at least the show is going to finish because they know what's happening.
and it doesn't mean it'll be a bad situation. It's just because The Walking Dead is strayed far enough from the comics that it's okay to do.
They did that in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very end of season 1, and then all of season 2 is pretty divergent. But if you look at Game of Thrones, the first 2 seasons are basically the first 2 books. Like, there is very, very few differences. There are some minor things here and there. But then seasons 3 and 4 diverge in more drastic ways from the 3rd book. So I think it's going to be interesting to see going forward with stuff unplanned. I think the books and show increasingly be different in the details, but have the same end goal, basically. But the ways you get there are going to be different. But I
Sorry
also
about
started
that.
watching Arrow.
What?
I started watching Arrow.
Arrow is surprisingly good.
Yeah, I'm I think about 8 episodes into the first season there, so I'm enjoying it.
It's not Smallville. Thank God it's not Smallville.
I know it's actually watchable, which is good. So once I'm done with Orange Is the New Black, I'm gonna go back to that. But I took a little break.
And it's something about 1 million free games.
Oh yeah, well I already talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked about all the PlayStation Plus and Xbox games, all that stuff I got. I have way too many games to play right now, basically, is kind of my point.
How do you think I am as a PC gamer, where it's like, Steam sale, I'll buy this, 2 year later. I still haven't played it.
Yeah, but now...
look, another Steam sale! Okay.
Right, but now I have subscriptions where games keep coming, and, like, I just, like, even if I don't pay for them because I already have the subscription, like, my console library just keeps going, and I can't keep up with it. It's ridiculous. But let's move on and talk about more games, because E3 happened, guys.
Yep.
It was pretty exciting. So the way we're going to do it on the show, since there's a lot to talk about, is kind of go, as many people do, press conference to press conference, starting, of course, with Microsoft, and then we'll work our way through that. But Microsoft had their press conference on Monday morning, and they announced quite a few things. But they announced a few things before the press conference, actually, like Forza Horizon 2, which will be out on Xbox One and Xbox 360 this year. Seems pretty interesting, yeah. Okay, no one's interested in Forza. But there was also Halo 5 getting delayed before the press conference.
I think Halo 5 getting delayed is absolutely a good idea.
Delayed, in
Yeah,
quotes.
probably. Of course, then again, Halo 5 is still 2 years off anyway.
Mm-hmm. Wait, no, Halo 5 is coming next fall.
Oh, is it? Okay, then they
Yeah,
bumped it up
2015.
from what I originally thought.
No, it'll be 2015, but
They pushed
and
it back because we're getting the Halo Anniversary Edition, which is all the Halos.
the Halo Master Chief Collection, which we should talk about. Halo Master Chief Collection is Halos 1, 2, 3, and 4. However, it does not include Halo Reach or Halo 3 ODST, which is kind of a shame.
Well, see, now I'm kind of sad that they didn't throw Reach into that, because Reach is the one that actually set up the whole damn thing.
Right, but you have to remember that it's called the Master Chief Collection, and you don't play as Master Chief in it.
Well, that's true.
Which is how they're getting around it.
Yeah, they're kind of prepping it for the 5th game, because I think they're going to do, I think there's going to be, from what they showed, maybe a little story.
Little hints in Halo 2.
Yeah.
Kind of like how when they remastered Halo 1 for the 10th Anniversary Edition, they put in those extra terminals that you could find that gave hints to Halo 4. So Halo 2 will give you hints to Halo 5 this time.
Now the crazy thing is every single DLC is included. So there's something like 182 playable maps.
I thought it was 92 maps.
No, it's in something insane, man.
Is it that many? Okay.
Yeah, it's a.
Well, even 92 is.
Right, that's still way more than any other. Like, how many does Call of Duty launch with each year? Like 20 at most? Come on.
I think half the time they only launch with 10, and they start tacking them on pretty quick.
Right, exactly. But anyway, basically the way that they make it work with all these different multiplayer maps is whenever you go to a different game's multiplayer, it will load you into that game's physics and like weapon sets and stuff. So when you're playing a Halo 1 map, you're playing Halo 1 style physics. When you're playing Halo 2, and so on. So it's not like you're just on this one engine for all of them. You know, when you're playing a Halo 1 map, it's going to feel like Halo 1.
Oh, and then there's the entire
pistol.
And then there's the entire thing of if you buy the collection, you get in the Halo 5 beta. So
right,
that sells it right there. So
yes, the Halo 5 beta, which apparently starts this year, sometime. I think it's like a month after the game comes out in December, but well, the game comes out in November. But
interestingly enough, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition will support 3D TVs as well. But
yeah, the Halo 1 remaster also did that, if you remember.
Yeah.
I wonder if that means that Halo 3 and 4 will also support it, because I know Halo 1 did, but...
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't.
2 apparently will not.
I don't remember if Halo 4 supported 3D, but I know that Halo 3 did not. So they would have to go back and add that in, specifically. But that seems like a good value. And I think another reason they didn't want to add Reach and ODST to the package is they wanted to fit it all on one disc. And they said they were kind of pushing up on the size of how much you could fit on a Blu-ray at that point, which you can understand when you have 4 HD games and that many maps and things. There's kind of a lot of textures and polygon space.
Still just impressed they got it all on one disc. I figured that'd be at least a 2-disc.
Yeah, I do not envy anyone who is deciding to download that game.
Set it up for a week and walk away.
Actually, again, it depends on your connection, because Titanfall was a 45 gig download, and it took me.
No, I think it was like 24.
No,
but,
on PC it's more.
Oh, I'm talking about on the Xbox One.
Yeah, on PC it was like 42, 46.
That's true.
Because it has uncompressed audio, and I have 85 megs down, so I hit it and go make a sandwich and come back.
But let's see, other stuff that's coming exclusively to Xbox that was announced. Obviously, Harmonix has Fantasia coming. They announced that last year, which is their Disney game. But they also announced Dance Central Spotlight, which will be a downloadable game that you can buy more songs to for Xbox One, which I'm excited for that. I like Dance Central, and I think it's a good way to do that model. To have a cheap base version that you can expand with songs that you choose is really smart, and it's what they did with Rock Band, and I'm glad to see them continuing that. Their partnerships with all these record labels that they've gotten contracts with already.
Where's our Rock Band 4, damn it?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be 2016. They haven't even announced that, but they did hint at it. They've been dropping subtle hints. I'm telling you. If anyone watches Harmonix, it's me. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of subtle hints in 2016, and I wish I had actually seen or had a chance to read up on this, but what was it they were saying about another Mass Effect coming out?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that'll probably be next year. Actually, I would think. Because they were showing a little bit of that, and they were talking about the early development of it. Obviously, they have Dragon Age coming out this year.
Right.
BioWare does. So that's kind of their big game this year. I would think that means that Mass Effect is their big game next year, next fall, unless it gets delayed to March, which sometimes happens with Mass Effect games.
Unfortunately, EA was the cock tease of press conferences, where it's like, here's a little bit of Mass Effect, here's a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront.
Here's something we're working on. And here's something that's coming up later. So they also showed Casey Hudson's other project at BioWare, which are a little glimpse of that, which is what they're making after Mass Effect, which will be an entirely new IP from BioWare, which is kind of the more exciting thing, and that'll be in 2016 probably. Assuming they can get. I mean, BioWare is a big enough group of teams that they can have multiple games in the pipeline and have a game out every year and not really be affected because there are separate teams. But still, putting out a game every year is kind of the EA way.
Well, but keep in mind that some of the games they're bringing out right now are these big, massive AAA titles. I'm still waiting for them to bring out Dead Space 4, which didn't even make EA around.
well, the people
I wouldn't hold your breath for too much.
Yeah, because the people who are actually made Dead Space 3 are currently putting out Battlefield Hardline.
Yep.
Which is cops and robbers Battlefield.
Well, the people who made... No,
which
actually...
and it is awesome.
I believe it's the team that made Dead Space 1 and 2 that are doing that, I thought, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 was done by a different team, I think. But... yeah, so hopefully Battlefield Hardline is going to be good. We'll talk about that more when we get to EA, but Microsoft also announced Season 2 of Killer Instinct with new characters TJ Combo and Cinder, if anyone cares about that. I did download and try it out.
Bringing that back.
Yeah, I mean, I downloaded it and tried it. It's not for me. The game is bonkers, but it's cool for those people who are enjoying their Killer Instinct, I think.
Was it an Xbox One exclusive, or is it on
Yes.
360? Damn it.
I believe it's only on Xbox One. I don't think it's going to come to 360.
Trust me, it's time to upgrade consoles, and when we get to the Sony press conference, there is an absolute reason to get a PS4.
There's good reasons to get both of them.
Keep in mind, man, I have limited funding. I get one.
I know. I understand.
Put a
You're going to get one.
your house for every Wednesday.
Well, we'll talk more after this, but in some indie news, Threes is coming to Xbox One, and that's not necessarily the most interesting news. It is a great game coming to it. Not the best game for a console, but you can snap it, apparently. So you can be watching TV while playing Threes on your Xbox One. So that might be cool for some people who don't have phones. I don't know who those people are, but who have Xbox Ones but not phones. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is going to continue their deal with Xbox, of course, so they will have the DLC first there.
Call of Duty is Call of Duty.
Yeah, they also showed Assassin's Creed Unity there. We'll talk more about that at Ubisoft. Evolve, interestingly, has an exclusive beta and DLC coming to Xbox One.
Probably
that's one I want to buy the Xbox One for. I want to play that.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be on PS4, but it'll be coming... the stuff you'll get will be first on Xbox, which is kind of the theme coming up also, because Dragon Age Inquisition also has, quote, premiere content on Xbox One, which means that you will get stuff there first. basically. Microsoft is shelling out deals for DLC. You guys think that's a good idea still? It worked for them with Call of Duty last gen. It made people think, if I'm going to get Call of Duty, I get it there first.
But admittedly, the gap is getting slightly closed between Battlefield and Call of Duty in comparison to years past, especially with the next gen. I mean, yeah, the new Call of Duty looks a lot better, but it's still Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And Titanfall, let's face
It's
it,
never going to stop.
it's kind of better than both of them right now because it actually tried new stuff.
I do like Titanfall. I'm a fan.
So,
I'm very excited for Titanfall 2.
I think Xbox, in order to... I think the days of the DLC coming out rapidly and people just eating it up that fast are going to be winding down soon. Because people are now expecting, especially with the coming out of Valve, they're expecting new and different, and let's try something that'll actually wow me instead of hand me a game and then expect me to shell out another $10 to get the rest of the experience.
Or there's the entire thing where it's just like some of us, like occasionally I'll buy the season pass and go, when the DLC comes out, it comes out. I've already paid for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
PC, you've been able to get season passes for games on sale as well as the games. So I don't think I've paid full price for DLC in a while.
But to go back to Fox's point that we need more exciting games, probably the biggest excitement, the most exciting thing I saw at Microsoft's press conference was the Sunset Overdrive trailer, I think. That game looks fantastic. That's the next game from Insomniac, who made Ratchet and Clank, and more recently, what was that game they made? It's like a co-op shooter. It was pretty forgettable, obviously. But this game looks great. It's kind of a mix between Jet Grind Radio and a shooter. So, you're jumping around, grinding on rails, and trying to shoot at people while you're moving around. Similar to the combat, I guess, in Bioshock Infinite, kind of, except not sky rails.
See, now that I could see being an exciting and new and fresh approach on a game.
Yeah, and I think it's got 4 versus 4 or something like that. It's got interesting movement options, a very cool art style, and it's kind of got that Insomniac sense of silliness to it. It's got interesting weapons like Ratchet and Clank had. I can't really recall any off the top of my head, but there was some really interesting stuff happening with that game, and I think it's going to be one of the bigger games this fall that's only on Xbox, so I'm kind of excited for that.
I actually have no excitement for that game whatsoever, so I don't know. It's just one I just could not get. I'm not a huge fan of third-person shooters.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's one to watch. It may not be great. It may end up being terrible, but the art style I think is charming, and it looks like it's going to be fun. So fingers crossed, right? Insomniac does good things usually. Speaking of things we want to play multiplayer, they also showed Fable Legends again, which has kind of that asynchronous multiplayer to it, where one person is controlling the bad guy or the villain of the piece, and then there are 4 people doing co-op battles in this dungeon. So the villain basically is on a smart glass device, putting enemies in the environment on their phone or tablet or something like that, and then everyone has to go around and kill stuff. So that could be a fun multiplayer game, I think. Have people around doing stuff like that.
Could be. I don't know if I would. I never really got into the Fable series.
Well, this one looks more like top-down Diablo style,
Dungeon Keeper. It reminds me a lot of Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah. They also showed that crazy DLC for Dead Rising 3, the Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX plus Alpha Prime. So check that out if you want.
That's actually the title.
Yep, that's the real name. I'm just reading it. Sorry, guys.
That's Capcom making fun of themselves.
Yes.
I should hope.
Then for a little bit of a shameless fan service, they threw Conquer into Project Spark. Project Spark,
No,
of course,
I don't think that's fan service. I think that's going, we're tired of hearing about a Conquer reboot. Go make it yourself. That's exactly what it is.
Could be considered fan service in a way.
Yeah, I think they're people want him around, so they're putting him somewhere because they don't want to give him a full game. In some indie news, Moon Studios is bringing Ori and the Blind Forest to Xbox One. That game looks beautiful. And there's also a game called Inside coming from Playdead Studios, who made Limbo. And so I'm pretty excited about that game because Limbo was fantastic. Beautiful game.
Still haven't played it. Have it on 360 and PC and still haven't played it.
And then Platinum unveiled an exclusive partnership with Microsoft for Scalebound, exclusively for the Xbox One video game console entertainment system. Basically, it looks kind of like Monster Hunter a little bit, in that you're going around and fighting giant things, but you look more agile. This character gets like, the best thing I could describe it as is he's very Dante-esque. He has that sort of attitude. Dante from, not you Dante, but Dante from Devil May Cry.
Dante's Inferno.
No, from Devil May Cry specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has kind of that cheeky attitude, and apparently he gets his powers from headphones that he puts on. They look like Beats by Dre. I don't know. But that game could be cool. We obviously didn't see much of it outside of a trailer. And I think the last thing that they really announced was Crackdown is coming to Xbox One, right?
Yay!
So that's good. I'm excited. I really liked Crackdown 1. Never played Crackdown 2. Didn't hear it was very good.
That's why I'm so enthusiastic for a third one.
Well, at least it's the original people behind the first one, I think, right? They're going back to it now? I don't know. But, anyway, that's more games, at least, for Xbox One. Now we're moving on to EA, where they showed Star Wars Battlefront.
No. They didn't show Star Wars Battlefront. They go, here's a little...
Right, they showed... Right, but this can be said of pretty much every game EA showed at the press conference.
It was.
Here's a little, just a little teasy tease.
Now, admittedly, what they showed was scary close to like the movie quality of. Yeah, it's going to be
fantastic.
It's going to be Battlefield 4 with Star Wars 10 times better. That's all we need to know. That's all it needs to be.
I know. I just really hope that they can do something to integrate the space battles and the on land battles. Like, how cool would it be if you could, a la No Man's Sky, which we will get to, just like go into outer space with your ship and just start fighting a battle up there? That needs to happen in a Star Wars game.
It does need to happen in a Star Wars game, but I don't know that the system is even ready to start handling it until they start pushing the boundaries a little bit more.
And the only thing I can think of from a gameplay perspective is it would divide the action maybe a little too much. So, because I mean, like they showed us Hoth and they showed us Endor, and we know that in reality, at least those battlefields, yes, there was stuff going on in space in Endor. There was stuff going on in space above Hoth. Hoth was significantly less, so we probably wouldn't see that. And I would rather have, instead of going from ground to space, I would rather have even bigger, longer battlefields, so we get really good vehicle combat on the ground as well. Because I think that's what they're aiming for more.
Be able to transition from foot to vehicle and back again across a larger battlefield. That just gets more players involved.
Well, but if you remember, Star Wars Battlefront did have space battles. Star Wars Battlefront 2 specifically did have space battles in it where you could get in and out of ships, but you would only want to get out of your ship when you were in a docking station.
Yeah,
so it's possible, but
in reality, it was still physics-wise, it was still the same type of map where they're just like, hey, you have these bases, you can only get out of these bases. Everywhere else, you'll die. But it's kind of like
that was 2 generations ago now, so we'll see. I think they can do it.
And the other issue with it is there's a controversy going on with Star Citizen right now, where the way they're designing Star Citizen is actual physics of spaceships or physics in space. So, inertia and all that wonderful stuff, where it's not playing like a combat sim in an atmosphere, like the old X-Wing all the old space games up to this point have really, for more or less, played like a flight sim in an atmosphere in space.
Yeah.
And people are like really weirded out by it. It's like, I push forward and I keep going forward. I don't understand this concept. And I think again, the way Star Wars works, I don't know how they would do that well in space, where they have the ability to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was too much of a tease. I'm still pissed that we didn't get a full trailer.
Yeah. Well, speaking of teases, Criterion teased their next game also. People behind Burnout. They're making some game, and it has like helicopters and jet skis and ATVs and just all sorts of vehicles. So I have no idea what that's going to be either. If you can race a dune buggy against a monster truck, though.
Weren't you supposed to do that in that PS3 launch game? What was it? Apocalypse?
Motorstorm?
Yeah, you were supposed to do that in Motorstorm.
Yeah, but there were only 3 types of vehicles. There was like dune buggies, ATVs, and bikes, I think. This would have like, I mean, what other racing game has helicopters as an option for racing?
Just Cause 2?
Not a racing game. Not a racing game.
Hey, just because it wasn't intended that way.
Right. Well, I mean, there were race missions, but
Battlefield 4, technically.
I would not call Battlefield 4 a racing game, just like I would not call Grand Theft Auto a racing game. There are racing elements, guys. You can have racing missions in a game that is not a racing game. But so that game seems interesting. One of the games that was not teased but actually shown at EA, one of the very, very few, was Sims 4.
Meh.
Wait,
And it
they're
was
still
shown
hanging around?
Yeah, and it was shown in like very bizarre ways. Like every demo apparently had ended with like them like killing the Sims in terrible ways because they know it's what everyone does.
If there's any other way to play that game.
Right, it's just bizarre to see them like all right, fine, we give in. Like this is what you're gonna do, so let's just show them that. Here's how you do it.
I will be more impressed by EA when they give us a Roller Coaster Tycoon trailer where they do that.
Hey, I never managed to actually kill anyone in my Roller Coaster Tycoon games.
Oh, it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's called you have the launching piece and then an upward piece, and then that's it.
And nothing else.
You say
they get on the right, and they're like, yeah, and then the best part of that is where you put the lake at the end point, so they shoot off into the lake.
Lake of Fire. Another game EA teased and didn't actually really show much of was Mirror's Edge, or the follow-up to Mirror's Edge, or the prequel to Mirror's Edge, or whatever you want to call it.
They came out and said it is a full reboot.
Oh, that's good because
it will show the origins of Faith.
As a full
building
reboot, yeah.
So it could be a prequel technically, but
they've come out and said it is a reboot. It is a retelling.
Well, I just hope they tighten up the controls because the first game was a pain in the ass to try and play.
I just wish they would cut out the shooting and just like cut out all the combat and make it just a parkour game. That was the best part of that game.
Yeah, you really.
Every time you picked up a gun, you were already lost. You did it wrong.
Well, they said that's
that's how you should be playing the game.
Yeah, if you run at them in melee, you're doing it right because you're going to continue to keep going.
Right, or if you just run past them and just avoid everything, that's another good way.
I was fine with controls trying to do any of the advanced moves required ultra precision timing that if you didn't have like a brand new controller that.
Yeah. I think he's frozen.
He is, and it's in a picture worth taking. No.
Oh, I moved.
Damn.
But
I think so too.
So of course we talked a little about PlayStation or Battlefield Hardline, which is coming this fall from
Cops and Robbers.
Yep.
That's all
Cops
you need to know.
Robbers.
Battlefield Cops and Robbers. That's all you need to know.
Yep. That's basically it though. Like it's basically Battlefield with less room to do stuff.
No. It's there's more verticality now.
Yeah,
because it's a
there's
lot
no
more
tanks.
There's still APCs, and
Yeah.
there's the terrorists / bank robbers, whatever you want to call them, get an SUV with a Gatling gun attached to it, minigun. Like out of it's like not think more realistic Battlefield, but think more like movie Battlefield. So think like high-end cop sci-fi, not sci-fi, well, high-end cop movies and stuff like that, big budget. And the fact that you have the zip line now and the grappling hook's kind of fun because you can go, well, I want to go up to this roof. Okay. And then climb up there. It opens up. It's a different way to play it because it's more vertical than it is horizontal.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Hopefully it'll be fun. I'm very interested to see what they do with the storyline of that game, because they have a very unique opportunity to tell a different story than is normally told in these type of games.
It's going to be episodic, like cop drama kind of thing. And
yeah,
it is.
Hopefully it's good.
I think they're focusing more on the storyline than necessarily the multiplayer for this one. So we'll see. It's a
Maybe
different.
I'll like it.
It's not DICE. So.
Right. But that's pretty much it for EA. Let's move on to Ubisoft.
All you need to know about Ubisoft is co-op Assassin's Creed 5.
That's funny. You think it's 5?
I
mean, if you want to get technical.
Yeah, technically it is 5, but Unity.
No. Technically it's like 7. Let's see. There was Assassin's Creed 1, 2. Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, 4, and now this is 6. Or no, 7. That's 7.
There was also the PSP one.
Yeah, but we're not counting those as numbered ones, really.
But yeah,
they're not mainline as much as Brotherhood was and stuff like that. But anyway, so this is the 7th one. It is the one that is only for next-gen consoles and PC, Assassin's Creed Unity. There's also Assassin's Creed Comet coming to last-gen consoles.
So let's just call it Assassin's Creed Les Mis. That's what it is.
And it looks awesome. The crowds are finally super dense. It looks like there's a ton of people. You can actually hide in a crowd now, as opposed to just like standing with 4 people.
And it'll be co-op.
And 4 of those people could be your friend, or 3 of those people could be your friends at least, because you can play 4-player co-op now. So yeah, I think that's interesting.
And the fact it's French Revolution is like, okay, so it's at least we're kind of starting to progress through the eras a little bit more than where it was like, hey, look, we've been in Rome for 3 games.
Yeah, well, now they went back in time, I guess, finally. Or I guess they did with the last one, too. Because normally they were, up until 3, they were progressing forward in time, but with the last 2.
But which French Revolution are they using? Because I thought they were using the really bloody one that took place after the Napoleonic Wars, which would have been early 18s.
Yeah, they're still progressing forwards.
Which would actually be forward even from 4.
Yeah, what was to say? 4 was actually before 3 anyway, so the timeline's all messed up now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because you play as his grandfather.
Yeah.
But
Right.
But either way, this definitely managed to get me back being excited about Assassin's Creed again.
I want a fucking sci-fi, like, futuristic Assassin's Creed. That's what I want. I want to, like, yeah.
Well, the problem is they can't do that with the physics
they have that.
It's
called Watch Dogs.
Universe.
They made that for you.
Watch
That's
Dogs
basically what Watch Dogs is.
Watch Dogs pisses me off right now because
I love that game. It's so good.
A modder went into the PC files, did not mod the game, just unlocked stuff that was already in the fucking config file to make the game look actually how it properly should on PC and how it was in the 2012 trailer. And there's a big controversy right now going over between Ubisoft and going, why does the PC game, 1, run like shit, and 2, why did you hide all these fucking texture and graphic options that you know PCs can handle? And the big conspiracy is to make the PS4 and the Xbox One versions look better and look them on par with the PC. Because let's face it, that's always been the thing. It's like, here's the Xbox 360 version, here's the PC version, because the hardware can handle more. And yeah, dude, PC gamers are really pissed off at Ubisoft right now.
Yeah, so normal people don't care. So,
That-
let's see. There's also they talked more about The Division, which the game's not coming out for a while. It looks great. It still looks great. Looked
It got
great
pushed
last
back.
year. Yep, coming out fall 2015 probably, like everything else. There's a new version of Just Dance coming that'll let you use your phone as a controller.
Just Dance is not worth playing unless you have a lot of drunk people in the same room.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have a bunch of drunk people in the same room and they're using their phones as controllers, you thought it was bad when the Wii remote goes through the TV. How about when your iPhone smashes? That's not going to be fun. But they also talked more about Far Cry 4. That game looks fantastic. You can now play with friends who don't actually have the game. They can download a client and do multiplayer without them, or without them having the actual physical game. Nice little feature. Something you've been able to do on like Game Boy Advance years ago, but nice to have it on a console. See, The Crew is coming out this year. That's their MMO racing game. Looks actually pretty cool. I hope they model Kansas City. It'd be cool to drive through Kansas City, right?
You could go outside your door
No.
and actually...
I can't drive illegally outside.
Oh yeah, you
There's a
can.
police
You
officer.
can absolutely drive illegally outside. No
I don't
problem.
It's just not recommended.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that game. But more interestingly, they announced Rainbow Six: The Siege, or just Rainbow Six Siege, actually, which replaces Rainbow Six Patriots, which they were working on before. It's a squad-based multiplayer shooter. It's kind of what people who are fans of Rainbow Six have wanted for a while. Dante, weren't you a fan of Rainbow Six?
I play PC games. That's
So,
the answer
yes?
to your question. Yes.
Yeah. So are you
owned
excited
both
about
of
the
them.
Siege?
I would like to see more live gameplay
Fair enough.
and different maps, because the whole house thing does harken back to the original game, but I want to see more. I think it was just too much of a little bit of a tease, and that seems to be the theme this year. It's they gave us a little bit, but not enough.
Mm. There's a lot of teases this year, it seems like. Ubisoft also announced something else that I'm kind of excited about, which is Tetris Ultimate for next-gen consoles. Gotta see that. I was trying to find that Connect game they announced, but we'll move on, I guess. Next
We're
up
almost
was...
in our house.
people got time. So, the PlayStation conference was up next.
The only thing you need to know about the PlayStation conference is Destiny Special Edition, White PS4, September. That's the only thing I got out of the PlayStation conference. Was like, okay, now I know when I need to have to buy my PlayStation 4. Thank you.
Well, that may have been all for you, but there was a lot of good stuff at the PlayStation conference this year. They definitely had. I mean, they had a huge part of the demo was Uncharted 4. Obviously, that game looks fantastic.
Again, it was just
Kind of the last one.
It was a little bit of a teaser, not any real gameplay.
Yeah, well, that one's also coming next year. Destiny, of course, the beta and the alpha has already launched. The beta will be launching later this year, first on PS4, later on Xbox One and PC. Entwined launched during the press conference, which was interesting. Some PSN game.
Let's just hit the big. Let's not worry about downloadables or A&D stuff. Let's just hit the major stuff.
Okay, well, the Order 1886.
Could be good. Third
The game
person.
looks fantastic.
I don't know. New IPs are either really hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, but this is a good team behind it. It's the people who did the God of War games on PSP, which looked fantastic for PSP games. So definitely they have some graphical chops, and they're really flexing it on PS4, it looks like. The game looks really good, and I think it's got an interesting setting that no one else is doing. You know, it's a good time period with kind of this supernatural, but still back in a period piece. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially if the descriptions I've heard of it being kind of mixed between Uncharted and Gears of War end up being true.
No, that would be a reason to come back into that series for me.
I do know from what I've heard it's going to have a more natural third-person cover system where it doesn't feel like you're snapping to cover. Right. It's going to be more natural moving in and out of cover. So there might be a third-person shooter I might end up liking.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll have some good co-op or something. We can all play together. Little Big Planet 3 also announced for PS4 with 3 different new playable characters in addition to Sackboy. And, interestingly, all of the levels from the first 2 games that people have created will be playable in this third one.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and the craziest part is that they'll actually look better because they're updating all the assets. So they're like taking these parts and they're like, okay, well here's the better looking version of this part, and here's your new level, and it already looks just fantastic.
So a shit ton of game creators are getting free upgrades. That's pretty spiffy.
Yeah. They also showed off Dead Island 2, which looks great, I think. But again, just a teaser trailer. I really like the first game. I know Dante doesn't care, but whatever. Grim Fandango announced to be coming back. That's pretty huge.
Fucking huge.
Yeah.
That was that was the one of the few things that came out of left field for me. It's like, okay, not only is it a old school. Not only is it an old school LucasArts adventure game, it's one of their best ones, and no one saw it. Nobody saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be updated in HD, and it's incredible. It was a fun game then, but it's like 20 years old now at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, oldies but classics.
Right, we'll finally get to play it at least, so better late than never, right?
I think when it came out, I didn't have a powerful enough video card to run it, if I remember. Because I think it was. At that
point, it might have been sound card even. That's the crazy part.
No. It absolutely was. It was really.
Right, the sound card, because that was one of the first games that had like full synthesized voice stuff, wasn't it?
No.
One of the first adventure games.
No, that was
King's Quest. Which one was it?
I think it was Day of the Tentacle, Maniac Mansion 2.
Maybe that was it, because I know for a fact that the first Monkey Island didn't, but the second one did.
Yeah, but that was during that era of all the.
I think Maniac Mansion came out, or not Maniac Mansion, but Day of the Tentacle came out in between the first and second one.
I think it was a DOS game. I think it was old enough to be qualified. I have to use DOS commands, so.
Yeah. There's a new game from Suda51 coming exclusively to PS4 called Let It Die. The game looks like it's going to be completely crazy and bizarre, just like the other ones have been.
But again, no gameplay, just teaser.
Yeah, but it's Suda51, so we know it's going to be crazy. Good, bad, not sure, but it's going to be crazy. Probably the biggest showstopper at the PlayStation press conference, though, for me anyway, was obviously No Man's Sky.
Was what? Oh,
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but they've already shown that.
No Man's Sky. That actually looks really, really.
But this was the first time they showed it in engine actually being played. Because before it was not. Dante.
Right, and the one thing that interests me in that one is that that was the one they were talking about being able to transition seamlessly between ground and air and then space combat.
Yeah.
Did they show any of that? I mean, what that's going to end up looking like, or how it's going to work?
Yeah, they showed a trailer of it actually in action.
I'll find you that.
He starts off on this alien world, and he's walking around, and then these different wildlife, these crazy-looking animals start getting freaked out. So he jumps in his spaceship, just takes off out of the atmosphere into space, starts getting into a firefight, swoops down onto a different planet altogether, swoops down into the atmosphere there, and starts having a firefight there. It's a pretty crazy looking trailer, and man, that game is exciting.
And it's like by a studio of like what, 10 people or something insane.
I believe up until the week before E3 it was 4 people, and now it's 12. And it looks beautiful too. Like it's not like Minecraft graphics or something. I'm talking about like this is a game you would expect to come from a Ubisoft or an EA, someone who can put the money into it. And the way they're doing it, of course, is that it's all procedurally generated. So there'll be this entire universe that you can explore. And as you find things, if you are the first person to find this new life form or planet, you get to name it.
Well, now that's a neat feature. They hadn't listed that in the Game Informer back when that article ran.
Yeah, so there's probably a lot of Dung planets.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Planet Dung.
Yeah, you know they're gonna have to put some filter into that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I think it's a cool concept, and
welcome to Planet 8 equals D.
Hopefully they'll be good at censoring that stuff.
I think we should save Nintendo for.
Absolutely not. I mean, unless you have to. Are we really running?
Yeah, we're at an hour and a half, man. He's gonna.
Do you have to go? If he has to go,
yeah, there's actually, believe it or not, there's actually a party happening at my house. You guys,
yeah, that's why I've been doing the whole Tony.
I know. Well, we could finish up without him too.
You're rambling like a fucking barista at Starbucks. Come on.
Dude, E3. Come on. This only happens once a year. If you have to go, Fox, feel free to head out though. It was good having you on.
Yeah, I hate to do so, but I am gonna have to bow out because I gotta get back out there.
If I had known, I would have told you to leave sooner.
It's been fun. Thanks for having me. Hopefully, I'll have that book out eventually, and you guys can all see the stories I was.
Yeah. Do you have like a Twitter you want to plug or anything?
Not at present, unfortunately. I've got to get those up and running.
Well, let us know when you have that book, and we can plug that on here too.
You have to understand, he's been in Afghanistan for a while.
I understand. A lot of people get Twitter accounts in Afghanistan too, I think.
I didn't run Twitter in Afghanistan. I did try and get a blog going, and I just haven't kept up with it. So until I actually have
don't want to promote it till it's
again.
Right?
Exactly. Plus, it was different over there for me because my internet connection was all of 256K. So.
Oh yeah. Well, you got what you got. All right. Well, it was good having you on, and hopefully we'll see you again sometime in the future.
Anytime you guys want to put up with me.
All right. Well, Dante,
you guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's burn through the rest of the PlayStation stuff here real quick. Just Dante and I, and then we'll hit Nintendo real quick because there are some things we have to talk about before we go, and then we'll be done. Okay. PlayStation Now, obviously coming out at the end of the month here. That's exciting for people, and some people have had it for a while, and I can't say who. And the PlayStation TV, of course, is coming out this year, which is the PlayStation Vita TV in America.
Oh yeah. I was actually kind of surprised about that, and I didn't really think we were going to get it because, yeah, it was ready to go. I don't know why it took them so long to announce it, but I think they're doing it to pair it more with the as a Roku device or a Amazon, whatever their Fire TV thing is. I think they're using it as a competitor for that versus being able to actually play Vita games on your TV, which was the selling point for Japan. I think it's like, hey, you can stream all your fucking PlayStation Now stuff.
Well, I think it's also a
device.
Yeah, well, I think it's that, and also you can use it as a second screen for your PS4 now. So you can have, say you have two TVs and someone wants to use the main TV. Now you can play your PlayStation 4 on the other TV in the other room now.
We'll see.
Ratchet and Clank movie's happening now, and they are remaking the first game for PS4. Kind of interesting, but they already did the HD collection that had all 3 of the first games.
Yeah, but it's marketing. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so that's interesting. GTA 5 is coming out on next-gen consoles and PC.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But I assume you're excited as a PC player.
That one I'd probably end up picking up on PS4 just because I I play. See, I don't know if I'd pick. I'd probably rent it because I played through most of 5 on PS3. But it was one of those. It always kind of bugged me. It's like, this game doesn't seem like a PS3 game. It feels kind of dumbed down. And I think what they did is, I really think they may have designed it for the PS4 first, and kind of or intended for like a PC or that level, and kind of dumbed down the game because it really. I mean, the major changes look like lighting and textures. I don't think models and like it seems
Well,
like
the game
all
already looked so fantastic on last gen consoles.
it did,
Like,
but
the things that they made those consoles do were really impressive.
but I still think they designed it for a higher level and dumbed it down because
Oh yeah,
kind of done that for a few things. I was like, yeah, this doesn't seem really like a PS3 game. I think The Witcher is a good example of that, where The Witcher was made for PC, and even 2 years after release on PC, they still had to dumb it down to make it run on an Xbox 360. I think that's kind of what they did with Grand Theft Auto 5. It's like, let's go ahead and we know the PS4 is coming out. Let's not necessarily design it for PS4, but let's design it as high level as we can, and then
scale it back for these to what we can do. Yeah, and so I think it's going to be a great game that looks great. I'm actually excited to play it on next-gen consoles because I never played it.
Mostly because I think that the fact that we're getting this announced and it's getting released so quickly seems a little unusual.
Yeah. And then the last thing we really have to talk about from Sony is, of course, Bloodborne. Because I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention that game, because it's a big deal to a lot of people. Obviously, it's the people behind Demon's Souls and Dark Souls making another game for Sony. And it looks very much like a Demon's or Dark Souls game, but also with some slight differences. Like, now there are blunderbusses and different types of enemies. And it looks a little more action-y, more offensive than defensive. So
I will have to see.
People are definitely excited.
I think we need to see really and truly where it goes and a little bit more of it in detail.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting, and hopefully will turn out to be a good game for people who like that. I would really be interested if they made a version of that game that I could play and not want to kill myself. So that'd be great.
All right, so let's
then
quick hit Nintendo.
Yes, quick hit Nintendo. Obviously, they showed a bunch more stuff for Smash Brothers here at E3. They showed, let's see, Palutena as a character, the goddess from Kid Icarus, if you remember.
So they showed more people.
Pac-Man was the big one, of course.
And then let's print money by putting out an anime to go along with it.
They're not making an anime.
I think they are.
No, they had a little thing that they contracted out. There's no official news of an anime, though. They did not announce an anime. There could be an anime, yes, but there is not an anime.
I think it was one of those things that they did it to see the reaction. I think we'll see like an OVA, like a special that goes along with it. The release.
I could see it happening for sure. I mean,
they do it with almost every Dragon Ball game. Kind of gets that, and it's not unheard of to have like a little 30-minute short attached to a special edition of the game. Mm-hmm. I think we would see, because people would be like, fuck, special edition for $25 more and you get the anime. They'd sell that in a heartbeat because it's already Smash Brothers.
Right, well they already have a special edition coming for $100, and you get a GameCube controller and a GameCube controller adapter for your Wii U. Because Smash Brothers players are insatiable and we need our GameCube controllers. And I totally understand it, because I'm going to use one as well. So
I'm okay with the Pro Controller.
Well, what I'm going to actually do is they're making those GameCube Pro Controllers, basically, that you can plug into the bottom of your Wii remotes. And they're going to be $25 a piece, and they're in the shape of a GameCube controller, but with all the buttons of a Wii Pro controller. Huh. They're being made by PDP, but they're officially licensed through Nintendo, so that they can actually make the GameCube style. And there's a Mario, Luigi, and Peach one, kind of like the Wii remotes. So that's going to be cool. But they also announced that the 3DS one is coming out on October 3rd, and the Wii one is coming out, or Wii U one is coming out by holiday this year. So
yay!
Probably December 10th or so, somewhere around there is my guess.
So we got announcements of a couple new games, Splatoon,
Splatoon.
which is a non-violent
It's a 4v4
shooter.
paint shooter where you paint the environment and your opponents. And you turn into a paint squid and jump between the paints.
Again, it's Nintendo, so it's weird, but it might actually be kind of fun.
Right. You watch it and you're like, okay, I kind of see where they're actually going with this. It could be a lot of fun. It could end up being a disaster. But fingers crossed. They also showed, Zelda. I was going to get to that at the end, but if you want to talk about Zelda, we can talk about Hyrule Warriors real quick. I know how excited you are for Hyrule Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors Zelda smash-up.
Actually, I think it could be good. I saw.
I'm actually excited for it too.
It has kind of an aggressive link. You get to play different characters from the universe. They're specifically in some of the interviews have talked that they were trying to make it a little less normal Dynasty Warrior-ish.
Yeah, well, if you remember, I've talked in the last year or so about my girlfriend likes Dynasty Warriors, and we play them together. So this is like an ideal game for us because we can play co-op, one person on the gamepad, one person on the TV, and we can play in the Zelda universe in a Dynasty Warriors type game. Yes. What could be better?
An actual full Zelda game?
Well, we'll get to that eventually. But they also showed off their new Amiibo platform, which is their little figures. We gotta talk about that.
What throws me off is the fact that I didn't realize that the bottom left corner of your Wii, your Wii controller, Wii U
has
controller,
an NFC
chip in it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did anyone know that it was really there? I always
We've known
wondered,
that for a while.
But I mean, it's like nothing's used it, so it's like, why is that?
Yeah.
there?
The only thing I think that uses it is in Japan. There are certain credit cards you can actually use with it.
No.
Oh, and actually, there is one thing that has used it gameplay-wise. The Pokemon Rumble game had figures you could buy at GameStop also. But this is kind of their full, we're going into it with all of our characters. And the first game they're using, obviously, is Smash Brothers, where you can like store a character and have them train and be better and better. And yeah, it's basically a Skylanders for Nintendo characters, but it'll be cool. It'll be supported over multiple games, which makes it more valuable, I think.
And the fact that you don't have to buy, there's no additional random little tray you have to get in the store. It's
no
the fact that it's
power.
Where you have to go, boom, it's on the controller. That's brilliant. They thought ahead on that shit.
Yeah. They also announced Yoshi's Woolly World, which is the new name for the Yarn Yoshi game they announced last year.
Which looks insane because why is it all of a sudden all of a sudden the Wii games look like almost PS4 quality? It's just like, what the hell happened?
Can we talk about how Mario Kart 8 is the best looking game I've played this year?
It's just all of a sudden there's this little switch in the Wii. All of a sudden goes, oh, by the way, we can do this with it. And it's just like, what the?
They're Nintendo, dude. They know magic. They just sprinkle pixie dust on it.
It's like, we didn't tell you, but we had Miyamoto sneak into your house and put extra RAM in every single one of your Wii's. He's like Santa, but through an Ethernet cable.
Well, what's interesting is if you look at the Wii U's technical specs, it actually, the one thing it has a lot of for a console is like RAM. Like, its processor isn't that much faster than the 360 or PS3's. And its graphics card isn't that much better either. However, there is considerably more RAM than last gen, so they can do some interesting stuff.
The better thing is some of the interviews we've heard in regards to the successor of the Wii is they still keep hinting at this idea of they want hardware powerful enough for a handheld where you can basically come home and dock it into the home station. And the whole, I think the successor to A3. Well, we talked about this like 6 months ago, where some stuff was leaked about it. But they
talked about it at a game developer conference, I think.
Yeah, and they did kind of talk a little bit more about it. There's a couple interviews where they kind of talked a little bit about it. They didn't like go out, this is exactly what, but it's like, if we were going to have a successor to the Wii U, this is what we want to do. And it's just like, I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think it's still a few years down the line, though.
I
I
was
don't think we'll see that till at least 2017.
I was kind of expecting, because Wii U sales have been so shitty, that they might have hinted something this year. And again, they did talk about it a little bit, but they also came out with such significantly huge games and how good they look. Like they said, Mario Kart 8 has quadrupled Wii sales in like
well,
a month.
whatever that means exactly, because we don't know where they were at before that, but it's good. I mean, they're definitely selling a lot more, which hopefully that keeps up, because it's a great console for a lot of stuff. They also announced Captain Toad getting his own game. It's Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker for the Wii U.
It kind of looks like Fez.
Did you play New Super Mario or Super Mario 3D World?
A little bit.
Okay, so do you remember the levels that had Toad in it?
I haven't gotten that far.
Okay,
so
well,
there were levels like that?
Yes, there were levels just like this in that game. This obviously looks a little more in-depth, though. Like, there's turnips and a little more combat stuff, whereas the other one was more like just solving puzzles to get stars.
So it's kind of like throwback to Super Mario Brothers 2.
In a way, yeah, it has a lot of little references. I think that game's going to be full of Easter eggs, it seems like.
Actually, the one thing that really threw me off about Nintendo and E3 this year, not only was the whole how they did their press conference and how they'd had the jokes involving Robot Chicken, but Monster Hunter had this gigantic U.S. presence. Everybody on the podcast knows I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan, but when they had one of the biggest fucking parts of the Nintendo booth, because they had a full-size fucking monster and everything, and the fact that not only did they get time on the Treehouse stream, and they still showed a trailer, and I was like, where the fuck did this come from? This is supposed to be this niche game that only a group of us like, and Nintendo is putting a lot of effort behind it.
Yeah.
Because the one thing they did talk about and finally talk to the American audience about is the Ultimate version will actually have a significant single-player story now. And I think that's been one of the biggest turnoffs to American gamers, is it's so freeform that there's not a lot of direction in it. Not only is it hard, but the freedom of movement's going to make it, because you were talking about that other Xbox game that looked kind of like Monster Hunter.
Sunset Overdrive? Or no,
Scales?
Scaleborn, something like that.
That's the interesting thing about this, is a lot of the interviews, and there's a guy named Pro Jared on YouTube that used to be part of Screw Attack, who's a huge Monster Hunter guy. He has he spent a lot of time playing it, and apparently the movement of the game is significantly upgraded, because now there's where you can climb and jump a little bit more, and you can actually ride.
You can climb walls and stuff. It's a big connected area now. It's not different arenas.
It's it feels more like what was the
game?
No. Dragon's Dogma. They took what they learned from Dragon's Dogma and incorporated it into Monster Hunter. So I think it'll actually be more of an appeal. You might actually like it now, because it's going to be online. It's going to be co-op.
If it wasn't on 3DS, I don't have a 3DS, but
I thought you had a 3DS.
Not anymore. Not for a year at least.
Well, by the time it doesn't come out till next spring, so by the time it comes out, a fucking 3DS is going to be what, like $70?
Yeah, I might get one just for Smash Brothers.
See, there you go.
Other things they showed for 3DS though were Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
People called it, but the weird thing is, it's not a remake. It's those regions with a new story. So it's not going, hey, we're going to remake Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's the exact same game with better graphics. It's the same region. It's the same Pokemon from that region, but it's in a completely new game. So at least they're taking the smart approach to it and making a progression of story and ideas versus absolutely doing another reboot of a game they've already released, like fucking Christ.
Yeah. They also, for 3DS, announced Codename Steam, which is their new turn-based strategy that they're making with Intelligent Systems, the people behind, obviously, Advance Wars and Fire Emblem. And it's a turn-based strategy game that's kind of similar to, if you remember Valkyria Chronicles on PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still like you're moving in a 3D space, but you have a limited amount of movement in that time, or how far you can move and stuff. But it's still, aiming and shooting.
I think it'll be a lot of
3D.
fun. Advance Wars was.
Yeah, they're a great developer.
I'm waiting for the. I don't know if it's out for the Wii U console because you can get the Game Boy Advance games now. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I don't know if that one's out or not, but
when they
I think
start
it might be.
When they started releasing 2 and 3, because 3 is amazing. 2 was really good. 1 was a nice start, but 3 is
You mean
absolutely
the DS one?
Yeah, the DS one was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the first DS one. The second DS one, not as much.
3 was pretty good.
There was never one called 3. There was Advance Wars 1, Advance Wars 2 for GBA, and then there was Advance Wars DS, and there was Advance Wars Days of Ruin for DS.
Okay, maybe I'm not thinking Days of Ruin then.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of DS, the original one.
Yeah.
Days of Ruin was where they tried to make it more gritty and mature. So, they also showed some stuff for Wii U, like Kirby's Rainbow Curse, which is a sequel to Kirby Canvas Curse. You may shake your head, but I am super excited about this game because Kirby's Canvas Curse was one of the best and one of the first best reasons to get a Nintendo DS. It was one of the best touchscreen games they ever made, and they're finally making a sequel to it, and I'm excited about that. And it's going to be adorable claymation style.
I don't know why I cannot get into Kirby as a character.
Some other minor announcements. They announced Mario Party 10 and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I'll probably end up getting Mario Party 10 because my girlfriend loves the Mario Party games, and they're good for parties, obviously.
Mm-hmm. They do have a following.
Yeah, and they are good in some settings. You don't want to play them by yourself, but when you have friends over, they're kind of fun. Devil's Third is now exclusive to the Wii U, which is kind of crazy. That's the game from Tomonobu Itagaki, the guy who made Ninja Gaiden.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like Ninja Gaiden, but also a third-person shooter.
Could be.
And super violent.
Yeah.
It surprised me with how good that game looks, so I'm surprisingly excited.
Bayonetta 2 will include Bayonetta 1.
Yes. Only if you get the physical version, though. The download will not include Bayonetta 1, apparently.
It probably will be purchasable separately for really cheap, I bet.
Yeah, if at all. But I think that's probably just because of size, and being able to fit it on a disc easily is okay. Miyamoto announced some more gamepad-focused games, one of them being specifically a Star Fox game.
An untitled Star Fox game, but...
Right, but they said it has about a year left, so it'll probably be coming out next fall as well, or next summer maybe if we're lucky. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh wait, no, Mario Maker. Got to talk about
that's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a stream. Even though we're not getting full support for Twitch, which sucks because Nintendo doesn't agree that gameplay is worth it. Blah 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 blah.
They said it's not fun.
But I'm sorry, people are gonna make insane. You will die trying to play this. And people will play it and record it and frustrate and get pissed and will be.
Well, and just because there won't be Twitch streams does not mean that there will not be some way to do like streams. Because look at Mario Kart. Mario Kart has Mario Kart TV, so they could do something like that also.
Yeah, but no, you can absolutely. Well, you can still stream to Twitch. You just can't do it through the console.
Well,
itself.
Right, exactly. And that's pretty much it, except for, of course, the hugest announcement, which is the Zelda, which we should probably talk about. And this is why I wanted to save it for last, because it is the biggest thing.
I am pissed that it's a male. It has been kind of confirmed
It's been confirmed that it is Link.
Yeah, I'm really upset at that. Because I thought with the direction of the last game, the direction they're going with this one, it's like, it's still going to be open world, it's going to be different, it looks amazing. I think it would have been kind of cool to have a female protagonist for once, or at least have maybe two protagonists.
We don't know that there aren't yet. There could be multiple protagonists.
But he looks so feminine. It's just like, and the reason they say is they want guys and girls to be able to relate to him. And I was like, no, like David Bowie.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically, beautiful gorgeous-looking open-world Zelda. Back to the reference point of the first Zelda on the NES, where you kind of, just are thrown into this world. Apparently there will not be as much tutorializing this time. You don't need to spend the first hour of the game getting the sword. You'll get it in the first 5 minutes. So hopefully they've learned a lot of lessons, and this game definitely looks really good. And if it lives up to what they're showing, it could be one of the best games ever.
Yeah, I think we need to see real gameplay.
Well, they showed some real gameplay.
No, that was in-engine. It wasn't gameplay. It was in-engine.
They showed a boss fight. Yeah, if you watch, there are videos out there of a boss fight that they showed in demos. It is all in-engine, and it is gorgeous.
I'll have to hunt those down.
The question is, how much can they keep it up? How much they can fill this world up and make it actually interesting? But man, talk about graphical powerhouse on the Wii U.
I was gonna say the rumor is it's gonna be more of Link's origin story, because Skyward Sword was really Zelda's origin story, right?
It was kind of all of their origin stories, though. I mean, it was Zelda, it was Ganondorf, it was Link also. It is the first story. I don't think it'll be an origin story. I think this will be somewhere else in the timeline.
Yeah,
possibly even after Wind Waker. I think this could be, Wind Waker after all the DS ones. This could be a further down that timeline story.
Yeah, that's what we
because
really
of the art style,
and the fact that it has some differences in the way of the whole weird arrow magi tech kind of thing going on.
Well, yeah, and if you notice, he's wearing a blue tunic in it.
Yeah.
Right? Which, if you recall, you start Wind Waker with a blue tunic. And they also made sure to put out Wind Waker in HD on the Wii U already. So it makes me think that there's a small chance that this is a story that takes place somewhere in that timeline after that. So I'm excited. And that game, even if it doesn't end up doing that, I'm still very psyched to play it.
Well, and that is probably the biggest news of E3 was probably Wind Waker. And
Wind
Waker. New Zelda and
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, yeah. Let's face it,
those are probably the two biggest wow moments of that. Because I knew No Man's Sky was going to be cool. I did not realize that it was going to be that amazing, like, when it actually was running. Like, so seamless. And Zelda, it's like Skyrim Zelda. I'm so excited, guys. It's like Christmas.
But that pretty much covers a good chunk
Yeah.
of E3.
That's pretty much all of E3 at that point. I mean, there were some minor things we missed here and there. We could talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X or Mortal Kombat 10 or X or whatever it's called, but either way, pretty exciting stuff this year. And that's E3 for us.
Xenoblade Chronicles will be fucking fantastic. That's going to be another high bar Wii game. That does look high end for a Wii.
Yeah. I mean, the Wii U definitely brought it this year.
Nintendo won.
I think everyone brought it this year. Honestly, I think every
Ubisoft with their press conference.
Well, okay, all of the three major hardware people. You can talk about the software people all you want, but I think as far as what the three major hardware platforms showed this year, everything fantastic. I could not have been happier. Well, I could have been happier, but only if Rockman 4 was announced. So. So yeah,
that's it for us.
That's pretty much it for E3. Here's the wrap up. If you want to subscribe to us, you can go on iTunes and subscribe there. Please review us with 5 stars. You can also subscribe to the video feed on YouTube. It's youtube.com/geekswitch. We are also on Google+. It's google.com/+geekswitchnet, which is a mouthful still. If you have questions for us, we would love to hear from you guys. Feel free to tell us what you thought about E3 this year, or what we missed, what we should be talking about. If you want to support our T-shirts that we have here, the elephant sitting in the room behind Dante the whole show, send your questions to podcast@geekswitch.net. You can also follow us all on Twitter. I am at Tony Livingston. Dante.
Kirwan.
He's at Kirwan, and the website is @GeekSwitch. And of course, the Facebook fan page, as always, is facebook.com/geekswitch.net. Whew, that's a long episode, guys. Thanks for joining us this whole time if you stuck around. And until next episode, keep it switched on.